Now that we're back in the Brodeurland classroom, we gotta talk about being attentive. But we can't do that until we get some cheesy intro inspirational music to get us rolling. There we go. Now you may be thinking, what are the topics we're gonna talk about today here about being attentive? Well, viewer, I'm glad you're thinking that, because first, we gotta talk about what does it mean to be attentive? Second, how can I be attentive to others? And third, how can I be attentive to the lessons of life each and every day? Those are the topics we're going to talk about today here on the Brodeurland Show. So, we got to dive on in and we got to learn, what is that Brodeurland definition of being attentive? Well, let's find out right now. The Brodeurland definition for being attentive goes like this. You got to give close and thoughtful attention to others while being polite, being kind, and being helpful. Now that you know the Brodeurland definition for being attentive, we've got to start to apply this word into our lives. So to learn how to do that, let's take a look at our first quote right here. All right, so the first quote today goes like this. To be kind is more important than to be right. Many times what people need is not a brilliant mind that speaks, but a special heart that listens. So with this quote right here, what really sticks out to me is about being a listener, about being that active listener, about being attentive. You see, Mr. Rogers, who is the creator of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood back in the day, he's a very inspiring person for me. I take a lot of his works and I apply it into my classroom, into my life, into my job. And so this is what he says about really being a listener and about being attentive. He says the best gift you can give anybody is to be one more honest person in that other person or those people's lives. And so how do you do that? Well, this is what he says. He says you've got to be present in the moment with those people, with that person. That's how you're going to get things done. And so what I found interesting is if you go to Google and if you type in, listening and look up some images, there's two types of images you're going to see. One of those images, of course, is, people talking, and you might have a person listening, or you have like a person with their hand next to their ear or something like that. But the other popular image that pops up is a lot of people all by themselves in this picture with headphones, earbuds, AirPods, something like that. And they're all by themselves, kind of plugged into their device, plugged into their music. Now, don't get me wrong. It's okay to have me time. It's okay to listen to music. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is, are you attentive to that moment? You see, a lot of us at school, at work, at the grocery store, we're not all 100% attentive. We have like an earbud or an earpiece or headphones in while we're walking somewhere, while we're doing our shopping, while we're at school and trying to sneak it past our teachers. We've got to be in the moment. We've got to be 100% attentive no matter where we're at. That's how you're going to make a difference. That's how you're going to make a ripple effect. That's how you're going to be able to bring somebody and elevate their game, or bring yourself and elevate your game. Now, let's jump into our next quote, because we've got to learn, how can we connect the dots of being attentive to life's lessons? So let's take a look right here. So the next quote is from a motivational website called Embaji, and it goes like this. Life teaches you a new lesson every day, but here's the thing, only if you are attentive enough in the class of life. So this quote right here, why I love it and why I chose it, is the importance and the beauty behind life's lessons. You see, in every moment of every day, there are lessons to be learned from. The question is, are you attentive enough to learn from those lessons? See, Steve Jobs, who is the creator of Apple, as well as maybe that iPhone that you're holding right now in your hands, he said this: through life, you're constantly connecting the dots. The problem is we can't really connect the dots in the moment, but you can connect the dots when you reflect back. And that is so true. And to really illustrate his point, I'm going to take a big old story that most people have heard, and that is David and Goliath. A lot of people know David and Goliath in the sense that David took down Goliath, this big old giant. He was an underdog and he won against Goliath. However, if you rewind a couple of chapters, you find little David, and he wanted to go out to war with his brothers, but you know what? He was too small. He was not ready. So what did they tell him? You got to tend to your sheep. And he was just like, no, that's such a waste. I want to be out there. Why do I got to tend to the sheep? Just like some of us, we're grinding through the days, we're grinding through the moments, and we might go, what is the point of all this? Well, here's the point. When he was tending those sheep, he had to deal with the normal duties of protecting them. Now, protecting them from beasts of the wild, meaning lions and bears and things like that. Now to him, over time, that became just a simple task or one of those kind of routine things. Now, you fast forward to the David and Goliath story, what happens is he's bringing food to the war camp. He's bringing food to his brothers. And when he's there, he's like, why is everybody sitting around? And they're like, well, nobody wants to face Goliath. And he's like, that guy over there? Really? He's nothing compared to the bears and the lions that I've taken down. So what happens? He goes out there and he beats Goliath. Now, hearing that pre-story right there, you might realize, you know what? David wasn't really an underdog. When you connect the dots back, all those life lessons he learned from protecting his sheep led to that courage, led to the ability to take down Goliath. But see, he was attentive to all those life lessons going through, even though he might have not realized it at the moment. Can you be attentive to what is happening into your life? Can you be attentive to connecting the dots and moving forward? Now, we got to finish up this video and take a look at our last quote right here. Our final quote for this week is by John Philip Newell, and he says, let us be grateful, let us be attentive, and let us be open to what has never happened before. Now, listening to this quote right here, what I love the most about this quote is this last statement, this last part where it says, are you open to something you've never done before? You see, that's the goal. And I think so many of us, we're constantly looking to make a difference, right? To set ourselves apart. You see, Dave Ramsey, who's a financial guru, or some people know him as that debt-free scream guy, he says this, in your work, while you're doing it, find a way to do it in an unusual way. And that's the key. Can you stick yourself out? You see, when you're at your job, when you're at school, when you're wherever, ask yourself, okay, what is it that the world needs? What is it that those people need? What is it that the students need? Then, do I have the ability to fulfill that need? And here's the kicker, here's the most important part. Do I have the desire to really get it in myself, to really push forward, and like this quote says, to really be open to what I've never done before? That's the goal. That's the game. But the only way you can do it is by being attentive, by being in the moment with the people or that person that you are with each and every day. So always remember, you make each week a special week by just you being you. There's no one in the whole world like you except you, and I like you just the way you are. It's good that you exist, but you gotta go out. You've gotta be attentive. You've gotta be in the moment with those people to make a difference so you can be that best version of yourself. Until next time, Broder out.